Here we are again with a video that follows the classic saying of another week, another brain-dead OnlyFans whore making a damn fool of herself on TV. This week on the chopping block is this dumbass who I guess just thought online advertising wasn't enough, so she paid for billboards that literally just have a picture of her and her OnlyFans on it. Like, that's it. You really can't make this shit up. Bitch was so tired of making ads that she just plastered this shit in like 3 cities. And like, bro, on some real shit, how the fuck did you not expect this to get backlash? Like, that's just wild. Anyways, it got her an interview on Piers Morgan, so I guess it really did work. Not only does she have a billboard, but now her stupid ass is being advertised on TV. I mean, I hate to admit it, but fuck, it's kind of smart. I might have to do this. Fucking Beto billboards.
Welcome back. Now, it is August, and some people are very upset about billboards. Apparently, this is something that happens in August. Onlyfans model Eliza Rose Watson paid for these giant posters advertising her X-rated subscription content for several sites across London and New York. They've sparked a flurry of complaints to the UK's advertising watchdog, which today ruled these billboards were not, quote, overtly sexual, and therefore quite all right to have up.
How the fuck are these not considered overtly sexual? Like, in what world is this not sexual? It is literally her wearing a fucking napkin on her chest with her porn site right next to her. I mean, yeah, I guess it's not 100% sexual because she's not fucking naked, but like, to say that's not overtly sexual is like saying I'm not white because I'm wearing a black shirt. Like, the fuck does she have to do to be overtly sexual? Like a fucking billboard of her fucking full goat seed on the picture? Is that what it takes, man? I mean, fuck.
But furious campaigners want them banned, arguing that they are normalising obscenity. So do they have a point? For more on this, I'm joined by the OnlyFans model at the centre of the row, Eliza Rose Watson, and the political commentator Lauren Chen.
Listen, I'm gonna just be honest, okay? Say what you want, but the fucking political speaker on the right, far hotter than the OnlyFans model. I'm just being honest, all right? And not only that, bro, look at the fire in her eyes. She's not only more attractive, she's also about to fucking destroy this OnlyFans model. Like, we already know who wins.
Ladies, thank you very much for joining us. Eliza, first of all, you must be relieved, obviously, that the billboards are staying up. And what do you make of the arguments that this is inappropriate and obscene?
Well, firstly, I am encouraged and pleased that the ASA have ruled what they've ruled. I think, in general, what I make of the argument is, it's understandable in a sense that it's someone doing something new. There's a lot of misconception about what OnlyFans is and what OnlyFans isn't. But OnlyFans is now a household name. It's no good denying it or pushing it under the carpet. That's what's going to do damage.
Already starting off sounding completely retarded. First off, saying that there are misconceptions about OnlyFans is complete bullshit, okay? I don't think that there are really any misconceptions at all, okay? It's a site where you pay someone to see them naked. It is literally digital prostitution, and I think her saying that there are misconceptions is her trying to downplay the fact that, like I said, OnlyFans is digital prostitution. There's no misconception, okay? Everyone fucking knows. Also, saying OnlyFans is a household name, it needs to not be swept under the carpet, is fucking stupid, okay? I'd argue Pornhub is a household name, but nobody wants that shit out in public, okay? No one wants to see that shit advertised, so your argument here is just kind of complete fucking nonsense.
We need to face it, we need to talk about it, we need to not really focus as much on whether it's right or wrong, whether people should be doing it or shouldn't be doing it. The fact is, they are doing it. It's here to stay. We should be focusing on how we approach it. Is turning a blind eye to it realistic, let alone helpful? Is banning it and shaming it just an old, outdated, archaic approach, which has never really worked for any societal issue? I think that's where I'm coming from.
Okay, I'll admit she's making some good points here. Like, getting rid of it just wouldn't work, okay? Say OnlyFans disappeared tomorrow, there would be another site that's doing the exact same thing within an hour. Like, I understand that. We need to just accept the fact that it's not going away. I completely agree. But the thing that I don't agree with is she said that we need to stop worrying about if doing OnlyFans is right or wrong, which I think is complete bullshit. I think that's literally the only thing that we need to worry about. Because at the end of the day, there are plenty of things that are still technically legal that will never go away, but we as a society don't indulge in them for the single reason of it not being right. And the only people who do these things are just like the bottom of the barrel scumbags, like fucking posting someone dying on Reddit. It's legal, okay, and it will never go away, but we don't do it because it's fucking wrong. So having this mentality of like, oh, well, it's not illegal, it doesn't make you any less of a shitbag.
Interesting, the argument does come up a lot about sex work, and OnlyFans is somewhat in the remit of that. For anyone who's not aware, I feel like everyone in the world is aware of what OnlyFans is, but it's when people pay content creators for pretty sexy pictures, sexual pictures, and they can be to the very pornographic end or to the lighter end as well. We've just shown you some pictures there that were softened for our evening audience. Lauren Chen joins us now as well. Lauren, do you buy that argument that we should be more accepting of this type of work in society? Otherwise, if we clamp down on it, then it will be worse for a lot of women.
Well, I think we are plenty accepting already as a society. People are perfectly able to start OnlyFans accounts, and not only that, but become very financially successful for a slim minority. I think that includes Eliza. The question we were talking about here is it appropriate? Is it okay to advertise pornography in places where children can see it? You mentioned that some of these billboards are right next to a school. And in my opinion, the answer is clearly no.
Bro, what the fuck? Now, see, that just adds like a whole level to this. Like, you know, before, when I had no idea about the school thing, it was just kind of like weird. But now it's like, bro, come on. That's just fucked up. Like, this conversation should honestly not be happening right now. Okay, I think that at some point this woman should have enough morals to know, like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be advertising my porn site to children. Maybe that's not a good idea. I feel like that's fucking common sense, but I guess not.
And I have to say, Eliza, regardless of what the overall watchdog ruling is, that doesn't mean that you as a business owner, as the person who is sponsoring these billboards, needs to keep them up, especially the ones that I think are under the most controversy, which are the ones near the school. You are able to take them down. There are other ways you can advertise for your OnlyFans account, including, I would say, appearing on this show, that don't expose children to this, to the concept of pornography, young girls, the idea of selling their bodies, young boys, the idea that women are commodities. There are other ways to go about this, even if you insist on having an OnlyFans account, that would draw a lot less fire from parents especially.
I really gotta agree with like everything she's saying here. There are millions of ways to advertise an OnlyFans account that keeps it away from children. And in my opinion, there is literally only one way of advertising that guarantees a child will see it, and that's billboards, okay? There's not fucking rated R billboards. It doesn't take an ID to see it, okay? That shit is just out in the open where kids will see it. So like, why the fuck did you think that was a good idea? Also, she brought up the point that like the billboard was basically exposing young girls to the idea of selling their body, which again, I gotta agree. Because, like, honestly, I feel like that would be, I mean, if I was in the position of the creator here, I feel like that would be the first thing to cross my mind. Because if you do really think about it, if you're a girl that just came out of school, you probably hate it, right? You almost definitely hate school. So you come out and you see a billboard that basically just advertises, hey, make money super easily by selling pictures of your body. At that point, it's like, how could someone that naive refuse? Like, you're literally out here rotting the minds of kids for like a couple hundred more subs. It's just kind of fucked up.
Let's give Eliza a chance to respond to that, but also, according to the information I've got, the billboards, one of which is located around 450 metres from a school, which is a fair distance. And the Advertising Standards Agency did come back and said, look, these billboards are all around New York and London. Children walk around those cities all the time. They're going to see them anyway. Whether or not the ruling is correct or not, I mean, people have different opinions on that. But Eliza, I mean, your chance to respond there. Are you advertising pornography widely? Is it necessary to do that? That's what Lauren's saying.
I think my intention behind the ads was to do exactly this, to start a discussion. That's what my intention was, and I think that's been achieved. I will point out I'm not the first person to put an OnlyFans logo on an advert. There are boxers and Formula One drivers that have the OnlyFans logo in exactly the same way on their helmets, on their shorts, on their clothing.
Bro, I swear to fucking Christ, I will be genuinely baffled the day that I see a competent OnlyFans creator. Because, like, shit, they're making it easy for me. It's so incredibly easy to dog on someone this fucking stupid. First off, your intentions of the billboard was not to start a discussion, okay? You fucking got a lot of backlash for it, and you're saying that to save your ass. Like that's just complete bullshit. On top of that, comparing your billboard to someone advertising OnlyFans on their helmets is fucking apples and oranges, dog. A kid looks at your billboard and the only thing that they can think of is that website. But a kid looks at a race car driver, they don't even fucking realize the ad there. They're looking at the car or the motorcycle, okay? They don't give a shit about what's on his helmet. Subtle advertisement like that is completely fine because children overlook it. Okay, that billboard is not fucking subtle, dog. There's absolutely no mistaking that for anything other than a porn site.
I think the issue here is people are putting two and two together with a woman in the logo. I will also say the only overt reference to pornography on my ad was the graffiti on it. And this is what sparked the press I got and ultimately all the attention this has received. The ad was very clearly designed for adults. I'm a 34-year-old woman. All my social media audience is between the ages of 25 and 35 and 98.8% male.
Like I said earlier, just because the ad was meant for adults, that doesn't mean that like a child just can't see it. It just doesn't work like that. Just because you're half naked on the picture, it doesn't mean that a child's eyes magically turn off. That's just, again, that's just not how shit works. No matter what your intentions were, you really fucked up because, oh, well, it was meant for adults. It's like, okay, then do it on a site that only adults are on. Don't do it out in the fucking open where kids see it. How is this not common sense?
I will also point out that in the same vicinity, there were alcohol ads on bus stops, presumably where these children would sit and wait for a bus home from school.
Bro, just because someone else is advertising something not for kids does not give you space to do it, okay? This argument would be like if some dude came into the store and stole a fucking TV, so I decided to steal a bag of chips and expected no consequences. Like, no, bro, you still stole something, okay? That's just not how shit works. Also, I think that comparing your ad to an alcohol ad is, again, and not surprisingly, fucking stupid, okay? If a child sees alcohol, their immediate thought is not, oh, I want that. But a child seeing your ad, right? A girl seeing it, like I explained earlier, it exposes them to the idea of selling their body. And for a boy, seeing women in a sexual manner that young just kind of starts them off early with this idea of lust, which I don't even have to go into why that's a bad thing, okay? Lust it's a bad thing. So you advertising it is literally starting these kids off at a bad spot really fucking young. Them advertising alcohol doesn't do that, okay? A kid isn't going to look at an advertisement for alcohol and be like, oh, that's it, I'm an alcoholic. That's just not how that shit works. Again, your point is fucking useless.
The only difference is that conversations have been had around alcohol. That's the difference. And this is what I'm starting to do here. The other thing is just because there's an ad with a bottle of beer on it, it doesn't mean a child or a minor could walk straight into an off license and buy a beer. They'd have to provide ID. And what people don't understand about OnlyFans is the same applies there. It's actually even harder. Even as a creator, when I buy a new mobile phone, I have to physically call up my network provider, provide ID and a credit card in order to even access the platform. And that's even without subscribing.
You know, that would be a good point if persistence didn't exist, okay? A child isn't going to just go to your website, realize they can't get on it, and just give up, okay? They're going to look for alternatives, and there is a lot. If you just look up OnlyFans, then go to images, there you go, okay? It's all right there. And not only that, but if you scroll for 2 seconds, you can find links to free sites, right? And using the argument of like, oh, well, kids aren't that smart. Yeah, okay, you probably weren't that smart when you were a kid, but kids nowadays literally grew up with phones. Trust me, this shit is so easy, they can do it, okay? 100%. Whereas alcohol has literally zero legal alternatives that a child could get. So again, your point is fucking useless.
I think those are all really good points to raise, you know, the alcohol one as well. That Lauren's point about the money aspect of this and the attention you've received, you said your intention behind it was to raise this debate. Of course, that has created more marketing for you and you're going to receive likely more customers and more money from this. Was that part of it as well?
Not really. I didn't expect any real increase in revenue from the billboards. As you might know, we already advertise, we advertise online. I think as well, like the point around it was, again, to just raise a discussion. And I'd also like to add at this point, the ads do not glorify or glamorize the use of OnlyFans in any way. And I will make this point about the money. The money can be really good for a small minority, as was mentioned. However, there are great sacrifices to be made for people who do OnlyFans. You post a sexy picture on even Instagram, it's there for your whole life, and it's a very short-lived career. So these are the kind of things that I think we need to be talking about.
Yeah, I'll agree that the billboards don't glorify OnlyFans and being an OnlyFans creator, but it does incentivize you looking up OnlyFans, and from there, the most widely talked about things surrounding OnlyFans is how much money you can make. And again, you can look this shit up right now. I'm not just pulling it out of my ass, right? You look up OnlyFans, you scroll down a little bit, and it talks about how you can make money easy. So if your intention was to raise a discussion on how OnlyFans is bad, you did a fucking terrible job at it. Because you're really just sending these children to articles talking about how OnlyFans makes money. And a lot of them don't even kind of include the fact of like, oh, well, you know, it's the internet. You can't escape the pictures you post. Most of them don't even say shit like that. So your discussion on how OnlyFans is bad, that's bullshit, okay? You just did this to try to advertise, and then you realized, oh, I fucked up. So now you're just making shit up at this point. That's fucking embarrassing.
Lauren, sorry, Eliza, we're just running short of time. I just want to ask Lauren, final words, whether you're convinced by any of this.
Well, I think it's somewhat silly to say that the billboards weren't done, at least in part, for increased revenue. That's the point of billboards and advertising. And I appreciate that Eliza does bring up the fact that there are downsides to OnlyFans. But the thing is, that's not what's mentioned on this billboard. On this billboard, there's simply her provocative pose, a link to her social media and OnlyFans accounts. And obviously, children should have their social media usage monitored by parents. But at the same time, I don't think it's too much to ask for people who make pornography like Eliza to not directly market to children, which is in part what she is doing. There are other ways she could advertise where you wouldn't have this fur, where they wouldn't be exposed to children, but she is, I think, specifically trying to normalize and mainstream. She even said OnlyFans, which is not a good thing. This is not a positive for society, for men or for women.
Lauren Chim, my DMs are open at any time. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
It's interesting.
Oh, go on quickly, Eliza.
Because statistically, teenagers are way more likely to be exposed to sexual imagery on places like Facebook than they are OnlyFans. I obviously would never purposely have put this ad next to a school. However, I think it's actually quite nice.
You can take it down. You can take it down at any point. You're the one paying for it. It doesn't need to be there. Regardless of what the agency says, you have the ability to take it down.
I did 6 days after the complaints. It came down. So
you agree with I guess the complaints in that case?
Not particularly, no. I agree with the fact I would not like to be directly marketing at children. However, it's naive. What I was going to say is it's naive to assume that a teenager with a mobile phone would not have seen imagery like this before. And this I find concerning, the fact that people don't know that or just don't want to accept it. The point of the ads, and I think they've achieved the point, is to start this discussion and maybe raise awareness amongst adults.
We are fresh out of time. We have had that discussion. We appreciate both your points of view.
Bro, my thing is, like, this entire time she's been getting flamed for advertising to children, not teenagers, okay? Literally no one fucking mentioned teenagers. So why is her defense to be like, oh, well, teenagers have already seen it, so no harm, no foul, right? Yes, okay, teenagers have seen it. We all accept that. No one's overlooking that, okay? We don't give a single fuck about teenagers in this situation. We care about children seeing porn, which you had no fucking argument for. Also, the fact that the billboard came down, obviously it's a good thing, but her mentioning that in the same sentence as that bullshit of like, oh, I made the billboard for a discussion, I really just think that she did those things to save her own ass. Like, on God, I really think that she just made those billboards as an attempt to advertise, and then the second that it didn't work and she got complaints about it, she just made up this bullshit story and then took down the billboard. Okay, if nobody fucking said anything, guaranteed it would still be up. Whatever. Fuck this bitch, okay? OnlyFans is trash. Anyways, sub to the channel. At 1,000 subs, I'll make the Beto billboard a real thing.